Good evening and a very warm welcome to the 185th edition of the FD Zone. Today we are presenting the film Nostalgia for the Future of 54 minutes duration, directed by Abhijit Mukul Kishore and Rohan Sikumar. Both the directors are very much here. I will request both of them to please come and introduce the film. Thank you. Please, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Maharaja. Thank you all for being here. I'm very grateful to FD for this association. This is a special moment because it's the 85th edition of the FD Zone, and that's a program that group of us were very actively part of, and good to be showing our own film here, in this day. It's a film that has very, very personal resonance for both of us, for both me and Rohan, engaging as it does with our respective practices. Mine as a documentary filmmaker, Rohan's as an architect and urban studies scholar. So I like to introduce it as a mid-career engagement with our practice. The film looks at modernity in India over a significant period, over almost an 80 to 100 year period. And what was it really? I mean, how were we shaping the citizen? How were we shaping the individual in that entire period? And we're looking at it through the architecture of the domestic space, of the lived space, of the home. And I personally have engaged with the Films Division archive very, very closely. And for me, revisiting the films made by Films Division in the independence, post-independence period, looking at how we were shaping the citizen and the space that he or she was meant to inhabit, was important. The film, therefore, it looks at different case studies and spaces which signify different moments in Indian modernity, which I'll request Rohan to talk about. And the entire tradition of very, very significant experiments with film form, as we have seen in the films of Films Division made over a very long period of time. It's a film that we both tried to explore various formats, various film languages, various almost genres in the course of the 54 minutes that the film runs. We'll have a discussion afterwards about all of that. I'd like to request Rohan to talk.
Yeah, so like Mukul said, the film is actually more of an exploration of a few ideas that connect imaginations of Indian citizenry, the body of the Indian citizen, and the homes that Indian citizen was supposed to occupy or live in. So what we did is we started with this idea of the home, and traced a sort of history of the home across the past 100 years or so. We looked at 4 imaginations of the home and tried to look at what are the ways in which those homes imagined their inhabitation, and what were the bodies that were imagined to inhabit those homes. And that is a sort of future projection that is embedded in architecture, that you're always making something to be inhabited by a future inhabitant. So the 4 homes that we actually chose, each of them in many ways represent different sorts of facets of the peculiarity of the Indian modern state to some extent. So the first home that we chose is a palace that was built in Baroda, which is the Lakshmi Vilas Palace, in which the Maharaja tries to create a sort of Indian modernity by blending Western elements and Indian elements, both in quotes. And the home was seen as almost a performance and a celebration of that identity. The second home that we look at is what you would call, I guess, the iconic modernist home, which is a home built in Ahmedabad by the architect Le Corbusier for the Shodhans, who were mill owners. We arrive at that through actually a detour into Chandigarh. And in there we are looking at how this home was trying to, in many ways, create a new relationship with nature, like as if as if breaking with the past, you create a new relationship with nature for this new Indian citizen. So that's the second home, where the body and its relationship with nature is looked at. The third is we look at Gandhi Ashram, where even the body is seen as something that is impure perhaps, and you're looking at a more sort of quote unquote spiritual relationship with the world. And the last example we look at is the DDA housing colonies in Delhi, which were built post-independence to house the bureaucracies of the new nation, where the homes were part of the larger machinery that was supposed to run the nation. So these are vaguely the 4 homes that we look at. We also look at contemporary times and try to look at what is happening to our cities right now towards the end, and we can talk about that a little later, perhaps after the film. I think I'll leave you with that much for now, and maybe what we could do is have a conversation about some of these ideas and whatever else you may want to talk about after the film.
Whenever you're ready with a response, a comment, or a question, we can start a conversation.
Being a filmmaker and he being an architect, and looking at the treatment of the camera in from the film, was it a conscious decision? Because at every shot you are
so particular as a filmmaker, how you want to take it. And second is the color of the film, which is a kaleidoscope, like it's throughout. So can you talk on the color and the treatment of the camera, both of you, as an architect and as a filmmaker?
I mean, yeah. Of course, it is. You decide the treatment of a particular sequence or the entire film. Before you start filming, very often you respond to a location, and it becomes something else. Like the Capitol complex, the first day around, we just didn't know how to shoot, because I was like, we are here, and this is a much photographed location. How do we do something which is different, and how do we do something which goes with how we are seeing this film and this space? So we jumped the entire shooting on the first day. We came back a second day to shoot it. So there's all of that, and then of course I can only explain this as sometimes being instinctive, where you say, okay, this is color and this is black and white, and the bits that you see shot in black and white are actually shot black and white. They're not made black and white later. So that choice is made at the time of filming, both video and film. So yeah, I mean, that's something that you decide out of how you respond to it, out of your own experience, and it works, it might fail. So you go with that. But this film, needed that kind of a let's say, free-flowing thing, or that kind of accidental thing where sometimes things might work, things might not work, and so.
When you showed that parrot flying out?
It's like, that entire sequence, Qutub Minar actually has nothing to do with our story as such. But talking about Delhi, and we had decided that the entire Delhi sequence is shot like a tourist movie. I'm not saying video because it's film. So it's shot like a tourist film, which somebody has carried their own home movie camera and shot it. So it's all deliberately shaky, and and so on. And likewise, so very accidentally, we find that parrot, in there. We happen to be shooting color at that point, and then the parrot flies. And the parrot not only flies, the film runs out at that point, So that is like the most fantastic accident that can happen. And, but it's not important that, it's not necessary that it'll work in the edit, but sometimes you make it work because you like the shot. So we've heard this before that, the shot is very nice, but it's not important to us. I'm like, if the shot is very nice, you bloody well use it. And I've, since I'm the editor myself, I, can take that liberty of shouting at the director who's saying the shot doesn't work. Both of us, by the way. So, and yeah, what do? We also make it slow motion. just in case you didn't notice the parrot. So that's right. Yeah, color me. So thank you very much. I'd just like to say that the film, along with 7 other films, revision films, will be screening at the Kerala Documentary Festival. And if you have friends who are attending or if you live in Trivandrum, please share the word if you'd like them to watch the film. It's also going to be screened as part of a curated program at Documenta in Athens, both in the month of June. So we've just found out and we thought we'd share that with you. But thank you very much. Thank you all.